These blades are called prismatic blades. They're made out of obsidian, which is nature's glass. In other words, it's a volcanic product. And the technique for creating these was a very sophisticated technique that was started by the Mayan people about 2,500 years ago. And at the time that the Spanish entered the New World and came into Mexico, the Aztec people were still producing these by the hundreds of thousands, because they give you a cutting edge which is fractured on a single molecule of thickness, which makes it the absolutely sharpest implement that has ever been created by humankind. It's many, many, many times sharper than modern surgical scalpels. The technique is a punch technique, so it's what would be called an indirect pressure technique. You use a punch to create them. You create a core, and each one of these is a double-edged blade, and so this core that I have shows each of the facets from a blade being removed. The way these were done prehistorically is the people would create a core out of a piece of obsidian. They would wedge it probably in a log and then remove blades with a chest punch. The chest punch that I'm using today is a replica of one of the prehistoric punches. Several of these have been found. I've tipped mine with copper. The prehistoric examples would have been tipped with antler, but copper is about the same level of resilience of antler, and it's easier to get a straight piece of copper than it is a straight piece of antler. So, and I'm wedging my core in a carpenter's vise. This is a core that's been prepared, and so what I'll try to do then is demonstrate the technique of blade removal. By using a chest punch, you can exactly center the punch where you want it, and you then load the pressure down and then pull out to remove the blade. And that is how the blades are removed. This is a tanned hide. This is a blade that is fractured on a single molecule of thickness on the edge, and it's sharper than any other implement that is created in today's world. In other words, it's many, many times sharper than modern surgical steel, because you cannot thin modern surgical steel to a single molecule of thickness. And I guess the real important point is that these are part of the prehistoric toolkit, showing us that the people of the past had, in some cases, tools that were not only as good as our modern tools, but in some cases superior to our modern tools. So for all the tasks you might do with a cutting edge, butchering, cutting plant fiber and so on, these were absolutely an amazing implement, and they were punched by the hundreds of thousands down in the Central Valley of Mexico over several millennia of time, and traded very widely. So it was an important item in the, not only in the toolkits of the people, but in the trade materials of the people.